Hello guys, welcome back to another Unity C# tutorial. In the last video, we learned how to delay for a bit, but today we'll be learning how to use Unity's particle system. Now first things first, what actually is Unity's particle system? And it's pretty self-explanatory. Unity's particle system is like particles. It's a particle system, so what will happen is, let me give you an example. You hit an enemy and you want an explosion to happen, or you shoot and you want a blast to happen, something like that, right? That requires Unity's particle system. Now I've been using Unity's particle system a lot lately, especially in my new game that I'm still creating. So this is a pretty important lesson that you'll use in practically every single game. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. First things first, how do we actually access Unity's particle system? Usually I straight on jump into the code of it, but right now you actually have to work a bit in Unity. So first things first is you have to click the plus sign or the right click, right? And go in effects, and as you can see, particle system. So all you have to do is click that, and then an object will appear, and as you can see, it's emitting particles from itself. That's why it's called Unity's particle system. Now there are many stuff you can do with this. You can maybe want to do it in a burst, like it will explode once and it won't just keep going, if you know what I mean. Or you want it to keep going and do bursts in the middle, or you want it to just keep going. Now those are all the different types of movements you can do with the Unity's particle system. And you can change the color of your particle, you can change the speed of your particles, you can change the amount of particles, you can change the shape that it's going in. Like right now, as you can see, it's kind of going in a triangular shape. What if you wanted to go in like a square or a circle that's bursting out? Something like that, right? That can all happen in Unity's particle system. So make sure to stay tuned to see what will happen. What I will be showing today is every time I press a button, let's say spacebar, a burst of particles will happen. So I want my particle system to not go in a constant flow. I want it to be one big burst. Now I'll show you how that will happen. First things first, as soon as you come in Unity's particle system, you see a lot of these things, these boxes, and each of these boxes could be open. For now, we're not going to be messing with any of these. What we want to do is stop looping, because looping will just keep going, right? We want it to happen once and be over with. We don't want it to just keep going forever. So for what we have to do is come over here at emission, and you will see something called burst. That's what we need. Make sure emission is checkmarked, otherwise this won't work. So first things first, you have to click the plus sign. Now let's see what will happen. If I press play, as you can see, one big burst happened, but then it just kept looping. So how could we stop that? And after a bit, it stopped, as you can see. Now the reason that's happening is because we set the duration to 5 seconds. So it's gonna burst once, and then for 5 seconds it's just gonna keep spreading out. What we want to do is set this to the minimum. I'm gonna put 0, and it will automatically set it to 0.05. So now if I try restart, as you can see, one burst happened, and that was all. Now you might be wondering, first of all, it's only going up, and second of all, it is really slow, and it also goes for a really long time. As you can see, this keeps going up and up and up, even away from the screen. The white box over here is our camera, which is what the people can see, and it just goes all the way up. So how can we fix that? The first things first is start lifetime. So the lifetime, if you set lifetime to, let's say, 1, and you play it, as you can see, it made the lifetime shorter. So that's what we want. That's what I want right now. And we can also set the speed. So let me say I want the speed to be 10, right? It's gonna make it 2 times faster. So let's look what will happen. As you can see, it went 2 times faster, but it also went 2 times farther. Now we have to kind of mess with this. Maybe I want to put this with 0.5. And now let's see what will happen. As you can see, it just blew up, and after a bit, it stopped. And now you might be wondering, well, it's only going in one direction. How can you make it spread all the way around? And for that, we have to go to shape. Once again, this has to be check marks. Otherwise, what I'm teaching you right now won't work. And as you can see, as soon as I click shape, there was a triangle that showed up right here, right? Now that the reason is because the shape is set to cone. What we want to do is we can set it to a donut, a box, or anything, right? I'll set it to donut, and let's see what will happen. As you can see, now they all spread out. Now that's exactly what we want. But now we want to do. Now you're thinking, how do I make it so every time I press space, this happens? First things first, you have to create a C# script, obviously. Now what you have to do is come to script, like always, create a C# script, and I'm gonna give it the name of emit, something like that, emitting, because I don't want emit to be another class that you can use. But for now, let's look at emitting. And once we come inside emitting, this is what we need to do. So now that I'm inside, let's look. First things first, we have to make we have to know when the person presses space. So I showed you in the past videos. Input get key key code dot space, right? That's what we have to do. Now as soon as we press space, it will detect this, and we can test this out by doing debug.log. We're not going to be doing that right now. We already tested this out before. We're going to be looking, how can we actually start or play a particle system? For that, we need a variable, a reference to our particle system. Which particle system should I start? Let's say I have multiple particle systems. I can't just say particle system.start, because that won't work. Unity didn't make it like that way, because then all the particle systems will start. What I have to do is I have to get a reference to that particle system. So I'm going to make a public particle system. Particle. And as you can see, particle system. And I'm going to call it PL for now. You can name it whatever you want, obviously, because it is a variable. Now, once I got PL, I simply have to do is pl.start. And wait, sorry, I meant not .start, .play, pl.play. It's kind of confusing, but if it's not start, it should be play. So like, if you guys forget that it's start, just check play. So then I have to put a bracket because it's a function, and functions require brackets, like always, and a semicolon at the end. Now let's see what will happen. So I will come back to Unity, and it's saving for now. And now what I have to do, make sure you get this part, because I a lot of the times forget this. You have to actually drag your script in a game object, and now it's now you can see that the script is in the particle system. Now I have to pick which particle system. Let's say I have another particle system. I won't create one, but you can pick which one you want. I'll choose this one because there's only one particle system. So now that I chose my particle system, I can start the code and see what will happen. As you can see, I'm moving my square. I click and everything. Nothing happened. But as soon as I press space, an explosion happened. Now this will be really useful, since as soon as I press space, my square also dies. So let's see what will happen. So in order for my particle system to move wherever my square is moving, all I have to do is drag my particle system inside, make my square a father of my particle system. You guys may remember this from C++. and this will be really useful in Unity since I use it in a lot of my games. So now that is a father of my uh of my square, it will move wherever my square goes. And now when I press space, an explosion happens. But as you can see, the particle system is always a bit to the left of the square, and to fix that, what you have to do is you can drag this onto your square. But a better solution would be, a more precise solution would be, you can do transform reset, and now we'll reset it to the position of the square. Now if I play it, it should be working. So as you can see, it's working. Now one last thing before I end this video. This video might be a bit too long, but this is a really important topic. Let's say I want my color to be different on my particle system. All you have to do for that is come over to color over lifetime. Over here, you can maybe slowly change the color, but for now we want it to be one solid color till the end. Usually this is used for maybe in the beginning you want it to be red, and at the end you want it to be like gray or something. That will be used for that, but it can also sorry, voice cracks. It can also be used for just keeping a simple color. So all you have to do is now close this, make sure it's checkmarked, because if it's not, once again, it won't work. Gotta remember these things. So now all I have to do is run this, and let's see what will happen. So first of all, the particle is going right in the middle of my square, as you can see, and it is red. So that will be all for today's video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and goodbye. Technical difficulties. Well, goodbye.